and welcome to the Agri-products podcast with me, Nanamo Foyua Enchi. And today we'll be having a very, very interesting conversation about a topic I believe you're familiar with, which is branding. I know we've heard from most of our celebrities mentioning branding. This is part of my brand, don't spoil my brand. Or you have a wannabe friend who always uses that term. But as a tomato seller or a momone seller, you've been in the Makala market for over 10 years. What's your branding strategy? Do you have a brand, or you're of the view that branding doesn't matter to you? Then this conversation is for you, because today we'll be talking about branding and how essential it is to you as an agri-product trader. And to do that, I have with me a renowned marketer, but before I tell you who he is, let's go for a quick break. We'll be back. Welcome back from the break. If you just tuned in, this is the Agri-products podcast with me, Nanamo Foyua Enchi. And the Agri-products podcast is a hub of agricultural excellence where we give you back-to-back content on agriculture. Yes, so as I mentioned earlier, we'll be talking about branding and how essential it is to an agri-product trader. And I have a marketer with me here in the person of Mr. Ebenezer Ole. Thank you so much, Mr. Ole, for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful.
It was really hard getting you, like you're a hot cake. But I'm really happy you made time to join us here today.
I'm grateful also to share my expertise on how to help businesses thrive in these hard times,
Yeah, that's true. So I believe branding is a familiar term. We hear it on social media all the time. But I'm sure most of us do not really know what that term entails. So as a marketer, what is branding?
Thank you for your question. I will literally define branding as brands. Branding as brands. So looking at the term brand, discipline BRANDS, branding as brand. So brand simply means or refers to building a reputation and nurturing distinctive successes or unique successes. So building the reputation and nurturing a very unique success for your business. Every business needs to build a form of a reputation for that company, and you should be able to nurture a very unique successes as well. Your brand should be unique and different from other brands. So an example, when you take the Senegal flag and then the Ghana flag, the only difference there is the color of the star.
Yeah.
The Ghanaian flag is black and then the Senegal flag is green or something. Yeah. So you need to build a unique brand. If I see Coca-Cola, I should be able to differentiate it from Bell Cola just by looking at the appearance of Coca-Cola. So I'll define branding as building a reputation and nurturing a very unique success for your company you're starting up.
Okay, so what are some of the strategies you can employ as an agri-product trader to build a reputation? I believe that some traders who have, as I mentioned, the seller may have been trading for years and has the reputation for area or this particular region and say Ray's Gobe is the best. Yes, so they may have the reputation, but how do they nurture, how do they grow their brand to match up with trends of?
So I believe that there should be several ways to which you can look at this depending on the kind of business or the kind of produce you are growing or producing. The first thing you should look at is the packaging. It's very, very important. Are you going to sell perishable goods or goods that you can store in a unique way where you can leave it overnight? I grew up in the rural area whereby farmers, after producing their products, take it to the market, and at the end of the market day, they see it as a waste. They don't know how they're going to keep it, or they don't know where they're going to put it, and they just either distribute it freely to passerbys, or they just throw them away, and that is just a wasteful venture. So you should first look at the packaging. It's very, very important as someone who wants to venture into farming, or someone who wants to sell agri or agri-related products. Secondly, also you should also target where you're going to sell your product, or targeting your audience. Who are the people you are willing to sell your products to? Imagine selling cassava to people who predominantly are not cassava consumers. So I think you should look at the number one, packaging. You should also look at the audience, and the third point is you should invest in your marketing strategies. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads. You should be able to invest into your marketing strategies as well, and be able to partner with others also. You shouldn't sit in the comfort of your home and expect people to know what you are selling, so they are coming to buy from you. You should be able to go to the malls. You should be able to go to the supermarket. You should be able to go to the market and talk to people. I'm selling this kind of product, and I want you to partner with me. If you're able to sell it, this is a commission I will allocate you. So you should be able to create that kind of partnership with others to be able to sell your product.
Okay, but how does all that help with your branding? Let me give you a scenario. If I'm a tomato seller and I'm listening to this podcast and now I'm hearing all about branding, what strategies do I employ? Or you mentioned packaging. So as a tomato seller, I've been selling in my tomato olunka for a long while now, and I'm hearing packaging. What different style of packaging? Because as a tomato seller, my packaging I've known is selling in olunka. Yes. So now you're mentioning packaging. Do you have any suggestion on how I can package my tomato differently to appeal to people like you're mentioning?
Okay, so let me not take you too far from your question, but practical example. I grew up to meet the evolutions of how sachet water that we currently drink was transformed to. So if we can all remember, we started by someone selling a water in the bucket going around, and then you have to get a cup, or the person selling the water gets a cup, fetch the water for you, you pay for it, you drink. And then
see that. That's from the Gen Z generation.
Yeah, so that's why. Yeah. So I've seen the part where they normally use pots, a clay pot. So you see them bringing a clay pot to the market.
Was that what was known as cooler?
The olden days. So it's actually a clay pot. Yeah. So there's water inside. So there are two different types of water: water from the river and the water from the well. The ones from the well are more, pleasant, and
it was more expensive than
yeah, they say they have this form of a nice taste. So they bring it to the market, and then you are tasty. You go to the vendor, you fetch, you pay. Then it moves to the ice water, where you now have to put ice cube in the bucket. So they mix it for you, fetch, you pay.
I think you even mentioned the ice water almost
before it came to ice water, where you have to tie. You have to tie, and then
I like pulling the end. That was crazy.
Yeah, so,
I made that.
Yeah, so it moved from that end to the sachet water. It has now shifted from the sachet water now to the bottle, and now we are moving to the dispensation of moving into the dispenser system. So these are all categories of packaging. So when you see the clay pot, you know exactly what is inside. Okay, it is packaged in a way that when the moment you see it standing there, you know that this is water. So I'm moving straight to buy the water. So when you see the bucket moving around, you know this person is selling ice water. This person is selling a sachet water. Without the person announcing it to you. So branding and packaging go hand in hand. Okay, so the way you package your product is very important to appeal the audience to buy them. So, like going back to your question, somebody like tomatoes, that's what we call value addition. Value addition. So you don't just produce tomato knowing that the tomato is a perishable goods and you take it to the market like that. People will buy it twice a day for you. But when you say blend it and then package it in a sachet or in a nice container, when you go there, you add 1 cedi or 2 cedis or 10 cedis to it. It's understandable because it looks attractive and appealing to the audience to patronize such products.
Okay, but then what container are you going to put it in? What are you going to? How is the container going to look like that would appeal to people? Because I remember when Sobolo, packaging of Sobolo idea came about, they were putting it in old used bottles, maybe vaulted bottle or something, a used bottle of another product, no me Sobolo negum, before others started adding labels and buying fresh bottles to do that business. So as the tomato seller scenario, you mentioned they can put it in containers. How are they going to showcase these containers? How is it going to?
So it has to now go back to the genesis of what we discussed. So the first thing you need to take into consideration is you need to get your business registered. Is it FDA approved? Does it have a standard authority approval or signature to it? So you need to research into the market. You need to get a logo for your business. You need to get a unique color blending also for your business. So when you get all those things, you'll be able to get a flyer or a logo to it. So when you have a container, you're able to wrap it so nicely around it, and you're able to sell it. With containers, you can just go to the manufacturers. There are companies that are designated for such stuff. So you can just go tell them how you want your container to look like. So, for example, when you take Bell Cola, it has a unique structure of its container. When you take Baltic, they have. So there are companies who normally do those things. So you just go describe how you want your tomato container to look like, how you want your cassava container to look like. Is it a plastic? Is it a paper packaging? So you have to research into it and then create a unique brand with color blending and all those labels and things.
Okay, so Mr. Awilita, last question. How important is branding to a business? And every product trader might be watching and go like, branding, I'm looking in the packaging. Why should I go through all this trouble? What benefit is it to me or my business? So
going back to the previous definition I gave, where I said branding refers to building reputation and nurturing distinctive successes. The importance of branding to your business basically is going to build that form of reputation you have with your customers. So when your brand is so appealing, a customer is able to easily identify with it. I can easily say I use MTN. I can easily say I use Figo because I can easily identify myself with the brand. Also, it also creates some form of loyalty with your customers. Create some form of loyalty. So when you have a good brand, your customers are able to be more loyal to you. The last one is it also gives you a form of confidence in the market. So you have some form of control over the market. You are able to sell your product with style and confidence.
It makes you an authority.
Yes, so authority in the field in which you are selling.
Okay, what about money? It doesn't give you money because I know my people are concerned about money. Is it going to bring them money?
So basically branding opens your business up. It gets more investment on board. it gets you to sell more of your produce because it's appealing. You are making your brand appealing, so it gets you to sell more. It gets people to come in and help your business if your brand is really good. Yeah. So you get more money.
Okay. So that's the intro. That's the part I wanted to hear. You get more money. So you heard from Mr. Ebenezer Wule, a marketer with an agricultural company known as Tias Group West Africa. And yes, Tias Group West Africa are sponsors. So if you want to own an agro-processing factory, you can hit them up and then get sorted. Up next, I have my own boss, a graphic designer, in the person of Mr. Peter Blay, who would be going into he'll be going into details with us about branding, logo, flyer making, and all that. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. Welcome back from the break. As I mentioned earlier, I'm being joined by my own boss, a creative designer who is in the person of Mr. Peter Blay. Beidu. Thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Beidu.
It's an honor being here today.
Okay, so we were talking about branding earlier, how essential branding is to traders of agri-products, people who trade in agri-products. And as a creative designer, I would ask this, what is graphic designing? When we say graphic designing, what is graphic designing?
Okay, thank you for having me today. Graphic designing, I can say that is the act of creating or producing a visual identity to represent a product or a service or a particular brand or an event, for instance, yes.
Okay, so as a graphic designer or creative who uses visuals to help sell a brand, if I come to you as an agri-product trader and I want to, I'm inquiring your services, what services can you provide me?
Okay, so when it comes to the expertise in branding, all right, for instance, at Tias Group, one of our subsidiary Agro, which is what we do is basically a 360 branding for any business or any entrepreneur that comes in for our services. So branding has a lot of things involved, starting from the logo, creating that as a visual identity for your product or for your business, a particular one that makes you stand out from the others. We also need to sit down to understand what your business is, the vision, the mission, what you seek to achieve as well. We talk about the colors that we're going to use for your brand so that when other people see, they know, okay, so these colors relate to what you stand for as well. So there are a lot of things that goes into branding, a lot of sessions that somebody might want to look at. Okay, so I want branding in this field. So just do my product branding for me. Do a complete branding for me from product to services to even some accounts like maybe your website, your social media as well. So it entails a lot to just create a distinctive identity for you and for your customers or your consumers to get to understand you. It takes a lot of things. There are a lot of discussions that we can go into details with before we can create a good brand for you.
So you mentioned logo. How different are logos from flyers?
Okay, logos actually make up the flyers. Flyers are let me say, a 2D visual representative of some information. But a logo is an icon, a symbol, or even a name that represents a person or an organization. If you take, for instance, let me take a brand like some popular brand, international brands we know, like let's say Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola, they have a distinctive logo, and when they're doing events or they're trying to put out information out there, they use it in the form of a flyer by sending out information as well.
Okay, so if I want to get you right, so you mentioned Coca-Cola. So with Coca-Cola, which Like, what would be their logo?
Coca-Cola, for their logo is a text only. Alright, that is just the name with text, with a font, a different font style that no other organization is using such a font style. So theirs is just a text logo.
Okay, so when it comes to cars, we have the Nissan symbol, the Tucson, how they look like and all that. So with what you just mentioned about Coca-Cola, it means we have different types of logos.
So we
have the text logo, those were the icons or the symbols. What are they called?
So we have the picture logo. That you can say a picture logo. A clear example of a picture logo I can say is a KFC. All right, KFC has a picture logo. That's the image. Yes. We have a text-only logo. We have the Coca-Cola as well. Some I can call IBM has just a text logo as well. We have a combination of the two. That's a text and image. If you take, for instance, let's say Pepsi, they have a unique font for themselves, and they also have an icon in there as well. Google alone is also a text logo as well. TS Group, we have a text and we have the icon as well. That's also a hybrid combination.
In your company, I would have asked you.
Yes, so we have different forms of logos. Yeah.
So what warrants what in the sense that if my mother is a tomato seller, so if I'm a tomato seller and I come to you that I want to up my brand game, so I need a brand identity and all that. Which would you recommend? The text logo or the picture logo, a symbol or something? And why?
As I said earlier, it all depends and it boils down to the discussion with the client or the person who's asking us to brand for him or her and what the business stands for. For instance, some people can be quite like persuasive and be pushing that, okay, this is particularly what I want. They have an idea of what you're already seeking, right? You just don't sit there and say, okay, so yes, your brand needs just a text logo, your brand needs an icon only, your brand needs a combination. We need to sit down and get to know, okay, so what is your business standing for? If it's a tomato business, all right, some people might just go on like, okay, see an icon of tomato or a vector image of tomatoes. Let's put it there. Let's add your mother's company name underneath it, right? But is that going to sell? You need to check it out. Okay, so how many businesses have such a similar logo? How are they performing? And what is making them perform better than the others? So you look at it in your competitors and the kind of logos they have, you compare it to yourself and know, okay, so which one is selling? Which one are people going to even remember? Because one thing about visuals is that immediately you see it, it means what gets stuck in your head. That, okay, immediately I see a logo like Tias. All the time when I see it, just even a second, when my eyes just glance on it, I need to know that that is a brand. That's a brand Tias. KFC, Coca-Cola, I just need to know because it's now part of like your memory. So which kind of logo is going to have such an effect on your consumers?
Some people come to you with no idea about any of these things, text, logo, and all that. That's why I asked that question. So you are saying be it whatever your agri-product is, it depends on what you want and how you want to stand out. So if you are to recommend which would be suitable, a text logo or an icon logo for a tomato seller who wants to stand out, maybe he or she wants the logo to make her packaging and add to her tomato puree or something she's doing. Yes.
Okay, if you take, let's say, let me just cite an example. If it's a tomato brand, right, and it's agriculture, you can't just sit down and change the shape of a tomato. All right, so if you have about 100 tomato businesses and 20 of them are using the icon of a tomato, how unique is yours going to be? So, for instance, if you have a client coming to you with a name like Omega, how are you as a creative designer going to turn maybe the O into a tomato shape, and which is going to have an impact on your consumers? Which people are going to know that, okay, this is unique, this is just you. Because you take agri-products, for instance, is quite a tight space for you to have or to stand out in a unique way. because you're dealing one particular product at a time. Because you can't change the shape of.
I bet there'll be a lot of green colors in your design.
So it depends. So after the conversation, after everything, we all come together, because every logo that is being created, all right, must have an understanding, must have a meaning and relate to your business. If it doesn't, that means that it's not a good logo. If you yourself, the business owner cannot relate to your logo, then there's no need to have even a brand or a logo. So every creative person, after everything is done for you, you need to also have an understanding and know that, okay, I can relate to this. This is about me. It's about my history. It's about what I'm looking for. It's even about my initials. It's about my company. I have it at the background. If you're talking about, let's say Ghana, for instance, take up your culture. It relates to my culture. If I'm an Ever, if I'm a Fanti, it relates to my culture. Your logo needs to relate to you in a particular way.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. So what are some common mistakes people do with branding? What do they think branding is? Like when it comes to graphic design, I believe you've had some difficult clients come with a lot of misconception about what they think graphic designing is, or the matches they want you to create. So what are some common mistakes you've encountered?
Okay, so there may be two things I might talk about today. That is number one. People think branding is all about just having a logo. So if I have a logo to put on my WhatsApp status or my social media, I am done. If I have it as a sticker, I am done and I'm gone. No, but branding is like creating a lifetime bond for your business. So if you think that, so far as you have a logo or you have a name of a company, you are good to go. You have not branded yourself. You have not branded yourself, because the colors need to come in. Your branding needs to be very consistent. You can't put this out and after 5 months later you're putting a different thing, right? And one thing in the creative world, most creative people have come to realize is that when some samples of, let's say, let me use an example like logos are being made, the first one the client sees is the one that the client is even going to go for. If the second or the third one is better than the first one. We're human beings, so the first thing we see, oh, we like it and we get glue attached to it. But it's not so. Sometimes you also need to relax and go through all the samples that have been created for you to even understand the meaning. Why did you do this? Some questions that some people need to ask. When a client comes to you, the client need to ask the question, why did you pick this color for me? It doesn't relate to me. It doesn't even relate to my culture. It doesn't relate to where I'm coming from. All right. So if you do let's say a brand for somebody, after creating, there's something we call a brand guide. That brand guide is a document that helps you understand your brand and how you're going to use your brand, because it becomes like a manual on how or what your brand should be or what your brand stands for. So these are some few things that people should look out for, and these are some common mistakes of both creatives and also.
Well, that must be a lot of work for a creative designer. So have you had an experience where you designed and you're really attached to the design? You felt it was the best, but maybe the client didn't agree and had to do 2 or 3 other designs, and the ones you felt didn't really communicate anything as what the person went for?
It happens. You know, when you're very confident in yourself, after you've created a brand and you go like, now even this brand should be yours, because you're kind of like very proud of the work, you believe in the work so much. But if the client rejects it, fine. It's about understanding. It's communication. That's why it's visual communication. Alright, I create something for you that you don't understand. I do understand it. That's why I created it in such a manner. So I need to help you to understand. I need to communicate to you its meaning. If you still persist that you want it this way because business A or business C or as soon as he has it in this way, so you want the same, fine, we can do it for you. You know, one thing that most Ghanaian clients come in and I'm not so happy about is that they are glued to some local standard, traditional artworks or brands that they've seen. okay, I saw my uncle's brand like this.
Oh, you
Do the
may
same
say,
for me, don't change
yeah.
anything. But that brand is still in your neighborhood. It's still in your city. It's not even across your region yet. So if you create an international standard brand for that person, the person will definitely reject it. While the person wants to reach a global market, but they are still looking at having a brand that is quite local in their vicinity. So these are some few challenges we face, but it's all about communication. When you create the understanding for your clients, definitely the person will go in for what you are doing.
Okay, with your 360 brand, then you mentioned website creation.
Yeah.
So, with website creation, how can we leverage the new media, which is social media, to up or build up a brand as an agri-product trader?
Okay, so branding is not just about the graphics, right? Branding is in the voice in your brand, the image in your brand. That's why now we have brand ambassadors as well. So leveraging on the digital market to have a website and a social media presence, or the creative person or the content creator. Yes, you need a graphic design, you need a content creator, you need a digital marketers to all come in to have a common goal and understanding on your brand and how best to promote it. Leveraging on the digital market is very essential in this current century that we are in. Using the website, your website theme colors, all right, using your social media, a brand ambassador, the face of your brand, the colors of your brand, the voice behind your brand. That's why now we have even voice-over artists. So you need all these things to come into leverage on it for your digital platform, like your website and social media as well. And they need to be consistent, all right. And actually a brand minimum of years, I might say that your brand should be consistent and run for, I would say even minimum of like 3 to 4 years. That's minimum. So if you're maintaining one face as your brand ambassador, maintain that person for even a minimum of 4 years. If you're maintaining a voice, ensure you have that voice running through, because immediately somebody even hears that voice elsewhere on a different ad or with a different organization, they might even think that is your organization because it gets stuck with them. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so if someone is watching and the person is an agri-product trader and the person wants a logo or a flyer, how much would it cost someone? Logo, flyer, website creation? Can you give a fair idea? How much?
Okay, the figures cannot be mentioned.
But you can give a range?
Even the range will be difficult because it's not about just one particular business. All right, that's what I'm saying. It's all about the understanding. So if you come in, okay, you need a logo, you need a total 360 brand. That's website, in social media management. You need a brand ambassador. You need a voice behind your brand. All right, there's a contract we need to sign. That okay, so these are the things you need. The expertise. We sit down, we all come together, we collaborate and know that okay, so this is how much it's going to cost you for. If you're maintaining your brand for 1 year, if you're maintaining for 2 years, this is where we want to take you, and this is how much it's going to cost. It's not too expensive.
But with how you just said contract and the terms you are using, that's going to be too much for my mouth as a semester.
It's two different institutions coming in. You bring in your company, we are providing our services for you. So we need to have a pen down contract to know that okay, this is the services we are providing for you.
But what if the person only needs a logo and a flyer?
A logo and a flyer, we don't do logo and flyers because it doesn't just help you. It takes you just to the doorstep.
No, as a creative designer, let's say you're my church member and I meet you, Mr. Blake. Please, I want a logo and a flyer for my tomato shop.
Okay.
How much roughly should I be looking at?
Currently, let me say, in the market of creative artists, I might say that the minimum price for a logo, that's minimum, might be around 800 Ghana cedis.
For a logo?
A minimum. Maximum that some people would charge is close to about 5,000 Ghana cedis. Okay. Yes. For a good, it's not just a logo, for a good logo. You have people across in shops that perhaps they might charge 400, even 500 Ghana cedis. But it depends on how good your logo is even going to sell. All right, because logos are going to be used for a whole lot of things. Your souvenirs, your entire brand, that's like T-shirt to pen. So you need the mind to have everything so that when it's being printed, your logo will show. There are some logos when it's even being printed, it doesn't show. It makes no sense. That's actually. Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Blaney, last words for the agri-product trader watching today who is interested in upping his or her brand game.
Okay, so what I'll say to every entrepreneur there or an agri-business person out there is that you need a good brand. All right, from logos, that's your visual identity, to your colors, even for everything, a 360 brand, you need it because most of your products or all your products need to sell out on the international market. If you're dealing with a lot of variety of products, you need to brand all of them for all of them to have a specific look, a specific identity for yourself to be able to sell. Just don't hide it in the comfort of your farms or your neighborhood to sell on tables and all of that. You need a brand that will put you out there, that will make you different from the others. And trust me, in a space of 3 to 6 months, you're going to fly in your business. Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Peter Bedu says if you need a brand that will put you out there, if you need people who put you out there, then creative designing is for you. In fact, he needs his creative designing company is for you.
Oh, you should just follow Agri-Riches. Contact us on social media. Our website is also there. You can see what we're doing. So definitely we can come and just follow us on social media, Agri-Riches. Then we can talk and have a sit down.
Indeed, this episode of the Agri-Riches podcast was actually sponsored by Tiaz Group West Africa. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to own an agro-processing factory, then Tiaz Group is for you. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Please do well to subscribe, like, and share. Once again, my name is Nana Mufeyiwa NT. Have a lovely week.